Ironically enough, these two actually competed at this show, but also now's as good a time as any to fill in the blanks of Drew McIntyre has been on the shelf since War Games, sustaining an injury, that being a blown eardrum, and he has been pulled from WWE events since then, including a tag team title defense, where he was going to team up with longtime rival Sheamus against the Usos, and Butch ended up taking the spot from Drew McIntyre, who is still on the shelf and has been pulled now from all upcoming WWE live events for the remainder of the year. So I wish nothing but the best to the Scottish Warrior in his return, and hope that his return comes sooner rather than later, as we are peeking through the blinds to see WrestleMania season on the horizon. And this is not exactly the time that you want to be on the shelf for, as far as being a WWE superstar, because you don't want to miss WrestleMania season, as it is the biggest time of the year for WWE superstars. But I wish nothing but the best to Drew McIntyre, and I hope that he can return sooner rather than later. Speaking of a WWE return, Alberto Del Rio was doing an interview, and Del Rio apparently went on record to say that he has had discussions in the past with WWE executives about coming back to WWE, and specifically because there were executives in the previous regime that were a big fan of his, that being the former head of talent relations Johnny Laurinaitis. But the fact of the matter is, a current WWE executive went on record to say, or an executive in the know through Fightful went on record to say, that there have been no discussions to bring back Del Rio, and that it seems like Del Rio is just basically building himself up, as opposed to talking actual stuff. That the reality of the situation is WWE is not looking to bring back the troubled former WWE champion anytime soon. Again, also an update is that for the first time that I can remember, WWE will not be having a live edition of Raw this Monday night, the day after Christmas, as it was a surprise to some that they are not having a live episode of Raw. But the fact is that they are giving production staff and just staff in general some extra time off for the holiday. That is the main reason why they're doing it, because it is easier and it requires less staff to run a live event than it does to do an actual television show, which actually makes a heck of a lot of sense, because you're not going to need production staff if you're not airing it on television. So WWE decided to give their staff a little bit more time to themselves and a little bit more of a vacation, airing the best of WWE in 2022 in the place of Raw on Monday night. So for the first time that I can remember, WWE will not be having a live edition of Raw this Monday night on December the 26th. One thing that will not be changing anytime soon is that Rich Swann re-signed with Impact Wrestling. Rich Swann, in his time in Impact Wrestling, has been a big-time get for Impact, winning the exhibition title, the tag team titles, and the world title, and being the guy that was entrusted to drop the belt to Kenny Omega at Impact Wrestling Rebellion, I believe in 2020. I want to say, I think it was in 2020. I want to say, and basically be the flag bearer of Impact Wrestling in when Impact was on the biggest scale. Because Impact Wrestling was on the grand scale with AEW and on a national level for the first time since their days in Spike TV or on Spike TV. So it was a big ask for Rich Swann to be the flag bearer of Impact Wrestling at that time, because basically you're defending the company on a national level against one of the top stars in the business, that being Kenny Omega. And I just want to say also, jumping back a second to WWE's episode of Raw next week, that it makes a lot of sense because the ratings will be down, even if it does have nothing to do with the ratings and it has to do with just being nice to their staff. It does make sense from a standpoint of ratings because the ratings will be down, as they usually are during the Christmas holiday, because people are just celebrating and recovering and just not around during the Christmas holiday like they would be on a normal week. So it does make a lot of sense for WWE to postpone and do a best of show, which is something that I would have thought is something that you would have seen from other talent and other companies a lot more. But I know Impact usually does this, or often does this, so it is not unfamiliar, but it is unfamiliar from the WWE standpoint. And also, Rich Swann held the tag team titles with, I believe, Willie Mack, but has been one of the top stars in Impact Wrestling for the better part of the last 4 years since he returned to the company in 2018, and shows that some people that don't do much elsewhere, because Rich Swann came to Impact off his WWE run. So it shows that some people that don't do much in WWE are capable of doing more elsewhere. And I may not agree with a lot of what Impact does as far as how they write talent off, but they do give the boys another place to work, and that's what matters. A little bit of a side note for programming: we will be doing the preview of AEW Rampage later tonight, as well as the news. So stay tuned for that as well if you're looking for the preview of AEW Rampage. But also, I will. Another note is that apparently AEW has trademarked an interesting title, and that is Wrestle Bowl and Wrestling Bowl. The Battle Bowl concept was something that was a part of the WCW calendar very early on in the early 1990s, and basically the WCW had a lethal lottery concept, and that would lead to a battle royal. I was a fan of the Battle Bowl. Not a lot of people were, because of the shortness of the matches and just the lack of clarity within the matches. But it is possible that AEW may be doing another television special next year with the Wrestling Bowl or Wrestle Bowl, maybe changing the Dynamite Diamond Ring out for the Wrestle Bowl or Wrestling Bowl, whatever they want to choose, because it was a recent trademark for AEW, so it is an interesting idea. But we got a little bit more news to get to next time, and we will be doing another news video, and I'm saving the meaty stuff for that news video. Either way, I will see you in another news video. If you enjoyed this one, let me know down below. But either way, I will see you in the next one. And maybe my outro will be better next time.